Hey, 7th graders, it's Mr. Eller here. Today we're going to look at a quick extra credit video where it's very hard for us to get corrections done in a timely fashion when we're only seeing each other once a week and sometimes not at all. So we're going to do this with our vocab foldables. These are great to watch before you do your vocab foldable. Either way, what will happen is we'll have some questions throughout the video, throughout this head puzzle, and we will basically take and add those points to your vocab foldable. If you get all 5 of them correct, I may sprinkle those points elsewhere to help your grade. But without further ado, let me make myself a little smaller here. It'll work. There we go. All right, so this is our AmRev vocab foldable. All right, I'm not. I could. Hopefully I'll remember to get rid of some of this stuff, but I don't really want to type in here all that much. I should probably do the next one on the big screen. But remember, in our first section here is you can do a picture or you can do one word. All right, I think if I come over here, no, that's going to be my highlighting function. But there's been some people who've actually drawn in here. I'm not exactly sure how to do that, but that's okay. But we can get in here on your document and maybe. Nope. All right, for whatever reason, I think it's because I'm in the master document. It's not going to let me get in there and physically type anything. But in here is where your one-word definition can go. Why it's not letting me get in there. Hopefully you guys are not having this problem. But that's okay. So how would I figure out what I might want to do for a one-word definition for patriot? Well, I would look at the definition here. Colonists who believe that the colonies should declare independence from England. So I would go and say, all right, what's my most important word that I need to know in order to answer this question? Well, I'd probably look at this and I might say independence, right, is probably my number one word. So then I can scroll up here and I can type in independence. Then I can slide in and go to my vocabulary and say, okay, and mine is centered for some reason, just uncenter that. This vocab plus example plus explain is going to be very, very helpful. Actually, no, I'm not going to be able to do this on I don't think I'll be able to do this on the big screen. But this first one we'll do a little bit differently, I guess. Vocab word plus example plus explanation. So I pick my vocab word. The word patriot has to be in the sentence. I think of an example, right? Why would someone believe that there was independence? I might think of, let's think of maybe one of our causes of revolution. So maybe something like the Stamp Act, right? Why would somebody think we needed independence based on the Stamp Act? Well, what was the big problem with taxes? The big problem with taxes was we did not have any representation in the parliament. So we could use that, right? Now we got to figure out our who's, our what's, our when's, and our where. So we can say many colonists, and my typing's real small. Make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. Actually, I'm going to turn it off. Let's make this something else real quick. Just make this an example. That way I'm not messing with the original document here. So we might say colonists became, and I'm going to kind of underline this, patriots when the Stamp Act was passed, because now it's okay to have our they here, right? They felt the tax was unfair, right? That could be, now could that be better? Of course it could be better, but would that get you guys a full 1 point answer? Absolutely, right? So now we can go up and we can say, okay, petition. What would be my number one issue here, right? Probably demand, maybe request, right? Maybe government, something along those lines, all right? Any of those would work. Let me get out of my center here. And then I do the same thing I did last time, right? I think of an example. Well, don't try to recreate the wheel. Would colonists petition against the Stamp Act? Absolutely. Why would they petition the Stamp Act? To get it repealed. Remember, when you use those vocabulary words, extra vocabulary words, you get bonus points. Okay? So we may say colonists created a, or colonists sent a petition. Make sure I underline that. To, now what was the name of the British government? That's right, Parliament. To, and whenever we put this in, repeal the Stamp Act because the colonists wanted, we could say, wanted to be able to vote on the act, right? That was a big deal. No taxation without representation, all right? Now, as you get flowing with this, I'm not saying this is going to happen this fast for you guys, but as you get flowing with this, guess what? This can become, right, your next template. Can I just take, my next word is repeal, right? So I got my word repeal there. Do I come in and jump down and just copy paste this and put this down there? No, but I can look back and I can say, okay, big deal for repeal is to cancel. Maybe it's law, all right? But now I could probably, let's take this sentence and just think of a different act, right? We can think of the Townshend Acts, the Intolerable Acts, right? Now, depending on which act we pick, we may have to change our explanation, but I don't think so if we pick the right act. Let me make this a little bit smaller. For some reason, it's not working there. Okay, good. Now it is. All right, so I can just kind of copy paste my sentences above, colonists, and again, I'm getting another bonus point for using that word petition. Make sure I underline it. To the Parliament to repeal. Now maybe I just say, instead of the Stamp Act, maybe I say the Townshend Acts. Or I could say the T Act. Let's do that one. We probably know a little bit more about the T Act. T Act, because now what was the issue with the T Act? Again, it wasn't the cost of the tax. It was because it forced them to do what? They had to buy British tea. They didn't want to do that. Because the act forced colonists, you could say them there, to buy, to purchase British tea. All right. Now, one of the things you'll notice is I'm starting to lose, like it's starting to go on to a third page here. One of the things you can do is kind of, once you've got your sentences kind of written, you can't do this on your paper, but you can go back and kind of move that around to keep it onto a third page. And these ones can go up a little bit more, probably. Go into there. Just in case your spacing isn't too great. So now we can go in and say, okay, these sentences we can keep using. Now we're down to boycott. Well, if we go to boycott, to refuse to buy one or more good, I think this sentence is probably a little bit better, because remember, we're talking about buying British tea, right? If you want to get some vocabulary words, use that sentence you just wrote, right? Now just add the word boycott in there. Did the petition work? No. So what did they do? They would then boycott. So maybe we can say kind of after the colonists petition failed or didn't work or whatever, we can say they chose to boycott, forgetting to underline, boycott British tea. Now, why would they boycott British tea? They didn't like the act. They wanted the act to get repealed. Maybe we want to go with another bonus point, right? Right? To get the Parliament to repeal the Tea Act. Now, some people may say, Mr. Allard, I don't really get how that's showing boycott. It's not mentioning that they're not buying, that they're refusing to buy. Well, you look at what you're showing me. You're showing me you would boycott a good, right, to get something to happen, and that's a major part of boycott. If you wanted to add something, right, they chose to boycott British tea to get Parliament to repeal the Stamp Act, because they weren't buying tea or something like that, that's fine, but I don't think you have to do that here. All right. Colonists remains loyal to England, right? I think the easy one to kind of go there is England, right? Put that one in there for my one-word definition. Come back down here. Give me my font a little bit bigger. Now I may want to look at, right, my sentence for patriots. Colonists became patriots when the Stamp Act was passed because they felt tax was unfair, right? Well, if you're loyalists, you're going to be against the Stamp Act? No. Why would they support the Stamp Act? Because they supported England. So that sentence we can then use, right? Loyalists, get my sentence underlined here. Loyalists supported the Stamp Act. Now, why would they do that? Because, they supported England. They supported the decisions by the Parliament. They probably thought, hey, yeah, we need to get rid of this national debt because they supported, right? They supported the Parliament, at all times. That was what a loyalist did. So they would, the Stamp Act was something from the Parliament, so they would go ahead and support that. All right, so that's a quick video on how I would kind of attack this. Can you just copy paste those terms for you? I would not do that, but just take out what I would do is probably take out the acts. Instead of talking about the Stamp Act, talk about the Tea Act or the Proclamation Act of 1763 or the Intolerable Acts, or instead of the Stamp Act for the Patriots, maybe talk about Boston Tea Party. Okay, use those examples and go through and remember, we're not reinventing the wheel here. If you have one sentence, use it again. I know this video is going a little bit long, but it's the first one. Hopefully I can keep these next ones under 10 minutes. All right, but you're going to remember this is a quiz grade, and you're going to get some bonus points for that. All right, until next time, 7th graders, got it out.